Greetings, extraterrestrials! Today we will be tuning into primitive egg technology, presented by the human called Sam, to learn 101 facts about Earth.
Number 1. So when did this whole Earth thing kick off then? According to smart sciencey people, the Earth was formed around 4.6 billion years ago from a cloud of gas, dust and rock orbiting the Sun. Eventually, some of this debris and detritus clumped together into a legit planet because gravity. That legit planet is now known as Earth. Oh, Earth? Earth. That's what I meant to say. Number 2. Life has existed on Earth for between 75% to 80% of its existence. Life popped up pretty soon after Earth had cooled down enough so that any life forms weren't instantly boiled to death. Number 3. We know this because the oldest confirmed fossils, single-celled microorganisms, are approximately 3.5 billion years old. Number 4. The period of Earth's history spanning between 1.8 billion and 800 million years ago is remarkable for being, well, unremarkable. The fossil record during this time period is a bit bland, to the extent that this period is now known as the Boring Billion. Wow, harsh. Number 5. That being said, things were indeed happening in the Boring Billion, including the best thing, sex. Yes, scientists believe that sexual reproduction first occurred during this period. Fossils from roughly 1.2 billion years ago show that certain species of algae had begun to form specialized sex cells, such as spores. Lusty spores. Number 6. Eventually, Earth decided that being a boiling hot ball of glowing rock was so hundreds of millions of years ago, and decided to get super cool instead. It's thought that the emergence of oxygen stripped methane from the air, which prompted the entire planet to freeze over into a so-called snowball Earth. Number 7. This period of time was the longest and coldest ice age in history, beginning around 715 million years ago and sticking around for 120 million freezing years. Did exist 715 million years ago? Someone call NASA, we need to get to the bottom of this. Number 8. Tracks found in Scotland indicate the existence of huge fridge-sized scorpions scurrying around 330 million years ago. It's not known for certain whether these animals, known as Hibbertopterus, ever made it on land or preferred to stick to the bonny proto-Scottish seas. Number 9. Other massive insecty-type things included Meganeura, a giant dragonfly-like creature which lived around 300 million years ago. They had wingspans as large as 65 centimeters, making them some of the largest insects to have ever existed on planet Earth. Ugh, gross. Number 10. Around 300 million years ago, all of Earth's land masses were joined together as one huge supercontinent called Pangaea. As such, there was also one giant ocean called Panthalassa. Number 11. Around 280 to 230 million years ago, Pangaea decided that it didn't want to be a supercontinent anymore and divided into two smaller supercontinents, known as Gondwana and Laurasia. These two enormous land masses move and split even further, like your parents after a divorce, until we eventually ended up with the continents we have today. Number 12. To be fair to them, the continents never stopped moving and are still doing so today. They're just doing it at an incredibly slow pace, which is pretty much the same speed that fingernails grow. Number 13. So far, there have been at least 5 major ice ages throughout the history of the Earth, and I don't mean the movies either. These are affectionately known as Ice Age 2, nope, sorry, I'm talking about the movies again. These are known as Huoronian, Cryogenian, Andean-Saharan, Karoo Ice Age, and the Quaternary Glaciation. That's given me some ideas for baby names when I have my first child, with Chewbacca. This is a reference to another video we've done, which is in the cards. Check it out now. Number 14. The Andean-Saharan Ice Age in particular led to the second worst mass extinction ever, known as the Ordovician Silurian, which is also a species in Doctor Who. 85% of all marine species were wiped out, which is, a lot. Number 15. Earth's largest ever extinction event, aka the Permian-Triassic extinction event, aka the Great Dying, is thought to have been caused by massive volcanic eruptions in Siberia. Roughly 95% of marine life and 70% of terrestrial life was wiped out about 252 million years ago, which was apparently #triggered by the release of more than 200 billion gallons of molten lava across what is now known as the Siberian Traps in Russia. The eruption is thought to have lasted for 1 million years, which, yeah, that'll extinct you all right. Number 16. The Gaia hypothesis was first posited in the 1970s and proposes that Earth's physical and biological processes form a self-regulating living system. It further claims that events like ice ages and global warming are essentially Earth regulating itself, like a human body raising its temperature to kill a virus, except, in this analogy, the virus is us. We're the virus, guys. Number 17. Some scientists theorise that a lot of what is now green on Earth may have once been purple. They believe that ancient microbes may not have used chlorophyll for photosynthesis, but a different light-sensitive molecule called retinol, which has a distinctly purple hue. Number 18. Scientists have discovered that before trees were common on planet Earth, the world was covered in giant mushrooms that could reach heights of over 7 meters. Incidentally, giant fungus was also the name of a band I was once in during secondary school. We were not good. Number 19. While plants have existed on land for roughly 465 million years, for as much as 2/3 of that time, none of them had flowers. Yep, flowering plants only appeared 130 million years ago, during the Mesozoic era, which incidentally was when the dinosaurs were up and about. Number 20. A little over 60 million years later, the dinosaurs were wiped out in a cataclysmic extinction event now known as the Cretaceous Paleogene Extinction Event, caused by a massive asteroid from outer space smashing into what is now known as Mexico, causing the last known major mass extinction. But hey, the flowers survived, so just think of the flowers. Number 21. Almost immediately after the dinosaurs were blown to smithereens or asphyxiated by a massive cloud of toxic gas, early mammals who managed to survive the extinction began to flourish in the absence of large, scary reptilian monsters. In fact, had the dinosaurs not been killed, we probably wouldn't be here. Number 22. These lucky mammalian sons of ultimately evolved into monkeys, apes, and humans. The oldest known primate skeleton is of a species called Argicebus achilles, which lived around 55 million years ago and weighed only 30 grams. Oh, adorable. Unfathomably ancient and adorable. Number 23. If the history of the Earth was condensed into 24 hours, which is the length of a day for the less mentally nimble of our viewers, the dawn of all known life would have rudely woken everyone up at 4 a.m. in the morning. Land plants would have stumbled in at 10:24 p.m, the dinosaurs would have gone extinct at 11:41, and humans would arrive, probably drunk knowing them, at 11:58 p.m. and 43 seconds. Yes, that's right, the entirety of human history has spanned the equivalent of roughly 1 minute and 17 seconds. Number 24. Right, well, that's history covered. Let's take a look at some of Mother Earth's physical attributes. Oh, that sounded really pervy, I didn't mean to. Sorry, Earth. The old gal has what some might call a generous waistline, with an equatorial circumference of 24,901 miles. Did I just fat shame planet Earth? None of your business, guys. Number 25. Speaking of which, around 2200 years ago, a Greek fella by the name of Eratosthenes used the wonders of maths to estimate the Earth's circumference, and the jammy bugger ended up being remarkably accurate. In doing so, he proved that the Earth was spherical all the way back in 240 BC. Number 26. There's also those who continue to believe that the Earth is flat. Ha ha ha. In fact, no educated person has believed that the Earth is flat since at least the time of Pythagoras in 500 BC. All middle-aged scholars, and that's by the way from the Middle Ages, believe that the Earth is spherical. Number 27. Scientists have calculated that Earth weighs approximately, this number, which is 5 septillion 974 sextillion kilograms. That's the equivalent in weight to 54 quintillion 807 quadrillion 339 trillion 449 billion 541 million 284,403 blue whales. Give or take, I'm estimating here. Number 28. The Earth's host star, the Sun, is so massive in comparison to our puny little planet that 1.3 billion Earths could all fit inside it. And bear in mind, the Sun is actually a pretty average-sized star too. Number 29. In fact, 63 Earths can fit inside Uranus. That's what I heard anyway, don't shoot the messenger. Also, don't try that at home either. Number 30. Every 24 hours, or rather 23 hours, 56 minutes and 4.1 seconds if you want to get scientifically pedantic about it, the Earth makes one full rotation about its axis. However, the speed of this rotation is very slowly decreasing, at a rate of approximately 17 milliseconds per century. I told you, slowly. This effect is literally lengthening our days, but so slowly that a day on Earth won't be 25 hours long for another 140 million years, so don't get planning for that extra hour just yet. Number 31. Additionally, Earth orbits the Sun, which if you somehow don't know, is the star at the centre of our solar system. A complete revolution around the Sun takes around 265 days and 6 hours, which is why we have a leap day every 4 years to make up for this discrepancy. Number 32. As such, the Earth moves around the Sun at an incredible speed of 67,000 miles per hour.
Number 33.
Planet Earth orbits around the Sun at a distance of approximately 93 million miles. At this distance, the light from our host star takes around 8 minutes and 19 seconds to reach our planet. Number 34. Geocentrism is the belief that the Earth is the centre of the universe, which is not true. Eventually, people managed to figure out that this can't possibly be correct, and amended their stance to heliocentrism, which claims that the Sun is the true centre of the universe, which is also not true. This is because Jennifer Lawrence is the centre of the universe. Oh, my universe anyway. Number 35. Contrary to what some of you, but certainly not me, may have assumed at school, Earth isn't just a ball of rocks and soil. At Earth's core is a solid ball measuring 1,500 miles wide, made of iron-nickel alloy. The temperature of the Earth's core is approximately 5,500 Celsius, which is as hot as the surface of the Sun. However, the extreme pressures found at the centre of the planet prevents the core from melting. This is, quite literally, hardcore. Ha ha! Part of the century! Number 36. Earth also has a powerful magnetic field, caused by its hefty nickel-iron core coupled with its rapid rotation. Properly called the magnetosphere, this field helps to protect the Earth from the effects of solar wind and cosmic radiation, which would kill us all if it had the chance. Luckily, there's no way that humans could possibly destroy Earth's magnetosphere. Yet. I'm sure we'll figure out a way eventually, though, and probably vote for it, knowing us. Number 37. The Earth's core contains enough gold to coat the surface of the entire planet in a gold crust roughly 1.5 foot, and would all be rich. Rich, I tells ya, rich! Number 38. Earth only has one natural satellite, known in English as the Moon. As a percentage of the size of the bodied orbit, i.e. Earth, the Moon is the largest natural satellite of any planet in the solar system. In real terms, however, it's only the 5th largest natural satellite, as 3 of Jupiter's moons and 1 of Saturn's moons are larger. Number 39. However, don't fat shame the Moon just yet. It's believed that the Moon's size relative to Earth actually provides our planet with a stable climate. Currently, the Earth's angle relative to the Sun, known as its axial tilt, wobbles slightly like a top. Without the Moon, the Earth's wobble would be much more significant, causing highly erratic and dramatic climate effects, which would probably limit life on Earth. Number 40. Some people think that the Moon was created when a huge object in space smashed into the early Earth, throwing up craploads of debris into Earth's orbit, which ultimately coalesced into the Moon. No one is really sure if that colliding object was a planet, comet, or an asteroid. Some believe that the culprit was a Mars-sized object that has since been dubbed Theia. Number 41. Some believe that the Earth may have once had 2 moons. The theory goes that our current moon may have been accompanied by a tiny second moon, measuring only 750 miles wide. Eventually the two slammed into each other and the larger moon subsumed the smaller. Scientists believe that this could explain why the two sides of the moon are so different from each other. The meaning of life. Earth happens to be the only planet in our solar system not named after a god, as the other 7 planets in our solar system are all named after Roman deities. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn were named during ancient times, but the tradition of naming planets after Roman gods and goddesses was retained after the discovery of Uranus and Neptune. Number 43. So who, or what, is the Earth named after? Turns out the word Earth comes from the Anglo-Saxon and Old High Germanic words earth and erda, which basically mean ground or soil. Oh, come on guys, it could have had a bit more pizzazz than that. What about the, phonosphere? No, maybe not. Number 44. Earth also happens to be the densest planet in the solar system. Ha, just look at some of its population. Our planet's density does vary a great deal depending on the part of the planet you're looking at, but the average density of the Earth is approximately 5.52 grams per cubic centimetre. Take that, Jupiter, you big soft wimpy gaseous poo face. Number 45. Apparently, if you drilled the whole way through the Earth from one side to the other and jumped through, well, first of all, you'd have a death wish because that's going to take ages and it's hot in there. Should you take the plunge with no rock and melting core in sight, though, it would take you around 42 minutes of free-falling to get to the other side. Number 46. Earth is the only known planet to support an atmosphere with free oxygen, as well as surface oceans of liquid water and biological life, which at least on Earth kinda depends on the other 2 things. Earth is also one of the 4 planets in the solar system, the others being Mercury, Venus and Mars, that are terrestrial, meaning that they have a solid rocky surface that you can stand on and make sandcastles with. Number 47. Sorry to disappoint all you sphere purists out there, but although the Earth is basically spherical, it's not a perfect sphere. It is instead an oblate spheroid, which sounds like a medical condition to do with your bottom, but it's not. It actually means it bulges slightly at the equator, which is caused by Earth's rotation. Number 48. You may have heard of the islands that make up the countries like Australia and New Zealand. And those of you who have briefly glanced at an atlas or a globe at some point in your life will know that Australia is substantially larger than New Zealand. However, according to a publication released by the Geological Society of America, New Zealand is actually sitting on a massive new continent scientists have named Zealandia. Number 49. Slightly over 4% of the planet's surface features land with other areas of land on the exact opposite side of the Earth from it. Exact opposite points on the surface of the Earth are known as antipodes, meaning that you could tunnel all the way through if you get past the molten hot core. Number 50. Roughly 70% of the Earth's surface is covered by a big wet coating of H2O, known as the oceans. However, only 5% of the oceans have been fully explored, owing to the fact that humans find it very difficult to do anything underwater for very long. Unfortunately, we have this inconvenient need to breathe oxygen. Boring. Number 51. Ocean water is salty AF. So much so that if you could evaporate all of Earth's water, which is not recommended by the way, and spread the resulting salt over the surface of the planet, there would be a 500-foot layer of salt coating everything. Number 52. The oceans are also home to the gargantuan blue whale, whose habitat stretches across pretty much the entirety of the planet's watery depths. The blue whale remains the largest animal that has ever inhabited Earth, including those wannabe lizards, dinosaurs. Number 53. Since no one really owns the oceans, more than half of the surface of the planet Earth is not subject to any nation's laws. Laws are stupid anyways, all they do is create criminals. Number 54. Speaking of water, the number of water molecules contained in 10 drops is equal to the amount of stars in the known universe. I'm sure that would be all the more incredible if I were able to fathom numbers that large, which, nope, they're giving me an aneurysm. Number 55. In contrast to the moist oceans, the driest spot on Earth can be found in the Atacama Desert, located in Chile and Peru. There are places in this desert where rainfall has never been recorded. It's drier down there than... No, actually, I'm not going to go there. Number 56. Want to lose weight quickly? Trouble for hand! Haha, just kidding. But seriously, there is a way to literally weigh less without having to do any exercise at all. Simply stand on the equator. Because the planet bulges at the equator, objects located along it are literally further away from the centre of the Earth's mass, and as such, weigh slightly less. 0.5% less, but hey, every little helps. Number 57. However, if you're stood on the equator, know that you're rotating at around Earth's axis at just over 1,000 miles per hour, whereas people standing near the poles are rotating much slower. Number 58. You may also be interested to know that unlike Antarctica, there isn't actually any solid land under the North Pole, it's all just sea ice. Some people didn't know this, and for the majority of their lives assumed that there was land on the Arctic. Not me though, I read it on the internet. Number 59. Though the movement of tectonic plates can often be felt directly in the form of earthquakes, some of their more dramatic effects aren't always directly noticeable. The immense mountain range known as the Himalayas, which stretch 1,800 miles along the border between India and China, were formed between 40 million and 50 million years ago, when what is known as India collided with the continent of Eurasia. The extreme planetary forces caused by this impact literally forced enormous amounts of rocks upwards, forming the jagged row of mountains that can be seen today. Number 60. The title of tallest mountain can be given to one of two contenders, depending on what you define as a mountain. Mount Everest in the Himalayas stretches up around 29,029 feet above sea level. But measured from its true base at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, the mountain of Mauna Kea on the island of Hawaii stands almost twice as high at 56,000 feet tall. Number 61. That being said, the literal highest point on Earth is located neither in Hawaii nor the Himalayas, but at Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador. Chimborazo is not the highest mountain from sea level, but due to its location near the equator, it's furthest from the centre of the Earth. Number 62. Earth's longest mountain range, called the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, is located, unsurprisingly based on its name, entirely underwater, beneath the surface of the Atlantic Ocean. This chain of volcanoes stretches 40,389 miles down the globe, from the Norwegian island of Jan Mayen, through Iceland, and all the way to the southern Atlantic Ocean, like a big scar down a person's face. Such as Kylo Ren's face, for example, which we may have mentioned in a previous 101 Facts video about The Last Jedi. Seriously, I've plugged it twice now, watch it. Number 63. The very deepest point on the ocean floor is 35,813 feet below sea level in the Mariana Trench. Known as the Challenger Deep, the spot has been visited by explorer and movie director James Cameron several times, which is Weird. Nintendo 64. The lowest point on Earth not covered by lots and lots of water is at the Bentley Subglacial Trench in Antarctica, which drops down 8,328 feet below sea level. Sadly, for anyone who wants to visit this remarkable place, it's covered in ice. Like, a lot of permanently frozen and completely unsurpassable ice. Number 65. Earth's crust isn't all uniformly thick with two C's, nor is it entirely solid in places either. Hollow areas in the Earth's crust are known as caves, and planet Earth certainly has some doozies. Hansen Dong Cave in Vietnam has the largest known cave cross-section in the world, with a roof approximately 660 feet high. Number 66. However, in terms of pure volume, China's immense Miao Room Cavern in the Zhebihei cave system is the largest cave chamber with a volume of 10,780,000 miles squared. You could easily fit a commercial airplane inside this enormous cave. I wouldn't, but you could. Number 67. The world's deepest cave is located in Abkhazia, a partially recognized state that most nations consider to be a part of Georgia. It's known as Krubera Cave, and has a total depth of 7,208 feet. Number 68. However, there exists an even deeper point on Earth, created by the Soviets in the 1970s. The Kola Super Deep Borehole on the Kola Peninsula in Russia was drilled literally just to see how far down humans could dig, and is a staggering 40,226 feet deep. Those working on the project had to stop at this depth due to the higher than expected temperatures of 180 degrees Celsius, at which point the drill bit would no longer work. Number 69. The highest earthly temperature that's ever been rigorously confirmed was a truly horrific 54 degrees Celsius. This temperature was recorded in Mitrabah, Kuwait, on the 21st of July 2016, and incidentally gives me my first rigorously confirmed reason to never visit Kuwait. Number 70. In the past, there have been rumours of even higher temperatures from places like Death Valley, California in the United States. Most weather experts now consider their recording of 56.7 degrees Celsius on July the 10th, 1913 to be a measurement error. However, Furnace Creek in Death Valley does hold the record for the hottest single month ever reliably measured. July 2017 in Furnace Creek has an average temperature of 41.8 degrees Celsius. Number 71. At the opposite end of the spectrum, the lowest temperature ever recorded on Earth occurred on the 21st of July 1983 at Russia's Vostok Station in Antarctica, where air temperatures plunged to a nightmarish minus 89.2 degrees Celsius. Oh god, hell no! Number 72. Because planet Earth isn't perfectly smooth, its mass isn't distributed evenly, and uneven mass means slightly uneven gravity. As a result, large areas of Canada have less gravity than the rest of the world, a phenomenon that was only discovered in the 1960s. Number 73. That being said, despite its many peaks and valleys, the Earth is extremely smooth when viewed as a whole. The Earth is actually smoother than a billiard ball if both were the same size, which would be weird, huh? Number 74. Approximately 500,000 earthquakes are detected around the world every year. Only 100,000 of those can actually be felt by humans, and roughly only 100 of them cause damage. This means that a handful of earthquakes that cause massive amounts of death and destruction are experienced every year, so it's not all good news. Number 75. Between 80 and 90% of the world's earthquakes occur along the Ring of Fire, which roughly follows the tectonic boundary along the edge of the Pacific Rim. Not only that, 75% of the world's volcanoes are located here, and only 3 of the 25 largest volcanic eruptions of the last 11,700 years occurred outside the Ring of Fire. Number 76. The devastating 2011 earthquake near Japan, which was the 4th most powerful earthquake ever recorded, was so massive that it increased the speed of the Earth's rotation, and shortened the day by 1.8 microsecond. Number 77. According to the US Geological Survey, the largest earthquake ever recorded occurred in Chile on May 22, 1960. It reached a magnitude of 9.5 on the Richter scale and lasted about 10 minutes. Estimates on the number of casualties range between 1,000 and 7,000. Number 78. There are approximately 6,000 flashes of lightning around the globe every single minute. That works out at a daily total of 8.6 million lightning strikes. No wonder people get hit by them. Number 79. Every day, Earth is drenched by a bumload of, wait for it, space dust. Yes, the planet is sprinkled with particles from the solar system that are sucked in by Earth's gravity and drift down onto its surface. Some estimates put the total weight of the annual addition of cosmic powder at 40,000 tons per year. Number 80. The most densely populated place on Earth is Manila, the capital of the Philippines and the center of Metro Manila. As of the 2007 census, 1,660,714 people live in just 14.8 square miles. Must be like sardines in there. It can't be nice. Number 81. In contrast, the least populated nation is Greenland. As of 2010, only 56,534 people lived in 836,330 square miles. This might be slightly misleading, as most Greenlanders are clustered on the coast, but you get the general idea. Number 82. Areas on Earth where it is relatively common for people to live over 100 years of age are called blue zones, a concept that was first introduced in National Geographic's article written by Dan Buettner way back in 2005. Across the planet, there are only 5 blue zones, which are Sardinia in Italy, Okinawa in Japan, Nicoya in Costa Rica, Loma Linda in California, and Icaria in Greece. Buettner identified a number of characteristics that people living in blue zones share, including semi-vegetarianism and constant moderate physical activity. Oh, that sounds awful. Number 83. If you live near the top or bottom of the planet, you may occasionally find yourself being treated to a spectacular light show in the form of auroras, which occur when the planet's magnetic field funnels towards the poles. These particles then collide in the upper atmosphere, resulting in huge, sweeping ribbons of multicolored light stretching across the sky. Number 84. According to someone who has way too much time on their hands, there are about 7,500,000,000,000,000,000 grains of sand on Earth. Enough for roughly 1 billion grains of sand per person, although I don't know what you'd do with those grains, but hey, that's up to you, I guess. Number 85. It can still be jarring to comprehend how the Earth can be so incredibly smooth, yet so insignificantly small. As I mentioned in the previous fact, 7,500,000,000,000,000,000 grains of sand on planet Earth, but the universe will still manage to outdo Earth by several orders of magnitude. Pop, pop! As there are 10,000 stars for every earthly grain of sand, resulting in approximately 1 septillion stars in our universe. Number 86. There are more living organisms in a teaspoonful of soil than there are people on the Earth, i.e. 7 billion. As you can imagine, we're talking about truly tiny life forms here, such as protozoa, bacteria, and algae. Number 87. Though humans are a remarkably hardy species, able to survive and thrive in a range of environments, we are by no means the only such animal. Ants are indigenous to almost every landmass on Earth except for Antarctica and a handful of remote or inhospitable islands. And they live there without central heating. It's mental. Number 88. The vast majority, in fact literally 80% of all animal species on planet Earth have 6 or more legs. What? Us bipedal guys? We're the weird ones? Number 89. According to the WWF, Earth has lost 40% of its wildlife in the past 40 years, mainly as a result of human activity. Remember those extinction events I was talking about earlier? Yeah? Well, we're literally in one now. It's called the Holocene extinction, and it's all our fault. Number 90. The Amazon, located in South America and mostly within Brazil, is so large that it makes up more than half of the Earth's rainforests. Take that, other rainforests. Number 91. The Amazon is often called the lungs of the world, as it produces roughly 20% of the Earth's oxygen. And what are we doing? Destroying it, because we love beef so much. We suck. Literally, we suck air into our lungs. Number 92. Speaking of oxygen, good old O2 makes up just over a fifth of Earth's atmosphere. 78% is nitrogen, and the remaining 1% of the atmosphere is made up of trace amounts of other gases, such as argon and carbon dioxide. Science. Number 93. Planet Earth is well known for its snazzy ozone layer, predictably made up of ozone, which is an allotrope of oxygen and the chemical formula O3. Ozone absorbs much of the sun's powerful UV rays, protecting us from being irradiated and dying horribly. And what did we do to it? We put a hole in it. Yay, go us. Number 94. Earth's atmosphere can be roughly divided into 5 sections from the surface. Up to roughly 15 kilometers from the surface is the troposphere, followed by the stratosphere up to 50 kilometers. The mesosphere extends from 50 kilometers up to 120 kilometers, then the thermosphere up to 500 kilometers. And from there, the exosphere extends into the empty recesses of outer space. Ooh. Number 95. Between the years of 1955 and 1963, experiments with nuclear bombs doubled the amount of carbon-14 in Earth's atmosphere. Living things that absorbed this atmospheric carbon were marked by a unique carbon signature. which has given scientists the ability to carbon date pretty much anything from after that point in time. We will only be able to do this for a few more decades, however, before the carbon-14 levels finally go back to normal. This is assuming we don't trigger any more nuclear blasts, which, could happen, maybe, hope not. Number 96. Speaking of things floating around Earth, there are roughly 22,000 man-made objects currently orbiting our planet. This is increasingly beginning to cause collisions that damage important satellites. Yep, that's right, we're even polluting space. Well done, human race. Number 97. The farthest distance from Earth anybody has ever travelled was during NASA's Apollo 13 mission, when 3 astronauts journeyed 248,655 miles away from Earth. That also happened to be the same mission when an oxygen tank exploded, and those 3 astronauts faced the prospect of dying hundreds of thousands of miles away from home. So, yeah, scary stuff. Probably don't want to repeat that anytime soon. Number 98. There's only one place on Earth that's actually called Earth. Earth is a small rural city in Texas, which appears to owe its status as a city to a technicality because only 1,065 people live there as of 2010. Number 99. A number of attempts have been made to create an Earth flag, a banner which will represent all people originating from our planet. Some have suggested the Olympic flag or the flag of the United Nations, while others prefer a completely new design altogether. One such example is that of Swedish artist Oscar Pernfeldt, who created a design of 7 intersecting rings on a deep blue background. Number 100! You may have been wondering, given the earlier discussions of hugely devastating planetary disasters, which last for millions of years and wipe out the vast majority of living things, why is everything so relatively calm right now? Despite all of humanity's best efforts, the global climate is still fairly stable. But scientists believe that this period of time is an anomaly, and that Earth will descend back into chaos within the next billion years. How reassuring. Number 101! Not that that will matter in the grand scheme of things, because in about 5 billion years, the Sun will have used up all of its hydrogen and helium, and therefore turn into a red giant star and possibly engulf the Earth in a fiery end-of-day scenario. If we are lucky and the Earth is not destroyed by the expanding Sun, it's extremely likely that Earth will eventually be ejected from its orbit by the Sun colliding with another star. And if Earth manages to escape that, it will finally crash into the dying remnant of our host star as its orbit ultimately decays after 100 quintillion long years. Finally ending it all. Well, what a way to go out, I say, and that's the way this video is going out too. I hope you enjoyed it. And hey, what do you want to see next? Let me know in the comments below before we all die horribly. Anyway, before then, I've got some videos you're really going to enjoy, and they're on screen right now, so check them out, and I'll see you next time.